So welcome everyone to what appears to be a county for old fire engines today, and you join me here at Stonham Barns in the middle of Suffolk, just off the A1120, which is the main tourist route that runs from west to east across Suffolk. I'm hoping today to join a couple of my subscribers, and the plan is to take our cars along the tourist route from the middle of Suffolk down to the coast at Dunwich, which is a place we've looked at in one of my previous videos. But if you get the chance to come and have a look at Stonham Barns, I highly recommend it. I'll just turn the camera around so you can sort of see what I'm looking at here. The fire engine, I should say, is not the main attraction, but it is a great attraction as far as I'm concerned. Stonham Barns is a complex which comprises sort of a campsite. There are a number of residential holiday lodges here and various other attractions like an owl sanctuary, a number of shops, including sort of antique shops, craft stalls, and there's a sort of good cafe on site. It's a really good sort of stopping off point if you're moving across Suffolk from sort of east to west or vice versa. It's grown exponentially over the last sort of 20 years. And there's things like sort of a driving range, crazy golf club, really a very wide range of activities for families. And as I say, it's a good sort of pit stop, but just sort of give you a little look around what we've got. This is pretty early on a Saturday morning, so it hasn't sort of woken up yet. But if you're interested in birds of prey, I said earlier that this felt more like a county for old fire engines this morning, and obviously we've seen one of the old county fire engines, and it's something which I think is a little bit special. And yeah, isn't she absolutely magnificent? Gorgeous, gorgeous machine. Have a look at this series of Vauxhall Crestas. Just have a little look at this one. Again, so difficult to film because of the glass, so I'm sorry you can't see what I'm seeing, but they are absolutely beautiful. In fact, actually, if I show you the sign, you probably get a better idea of what I'm looking at here. I love the gun sight on the bonnet. Extraordinary to think how important Vauxhall and General Motors was in this country, and actually how few survivors there seem to be of this mark. And you've got the fluted bonnet on this early Cresta, which sort of harks all the way back to the early Prince Henry from the 1920s. Fantastic space. Anyway, I'm hoping that fairly shortly I'll meet up with the others, and we'll have a look at their cars when they arrive, and then see where the road takes us. So you'll join me shortly. So as you can see, we've been joined this morning by Peter in his immaculate 1360 Herald, which has one of the best colour schemes, I think, of white with the black side flash. And this car really is just like a sort of 3-year-old car. It hasn't been touched. I understand from Peter it's spent some time in storage in New Zealand, and it is just gorgeous. I'm just going to give you a quick tour round so you can have a look at the interior, but this is as she left the factory. The one addition that I notice is that she's wearing a lovely Vitesse spoke steering wheel. If you look at the quality of the dashboard, it's just as she left Canley. But a good way to compare and contrast these two. And I think in terms of originality, this is one of my favourites. Certainly the best example of a 1360 that I've seen. Yes, I have to say I'm very envious. If I had a bigger driveway, I would be very tempted. The other car that's just turned up is this fantastic Mark II Triumph Stag, which belongs to Phil, and he's brought Matt along with him today, and Matt was responsible for a lot of restoration work. We'll turn the camera around and you have a look at this, and this car is known as Calamity Jane, and she is absolutely beautiful. Matt and Phil, I think, have spent the last sort of 4 years really putting her back together, and this is one of her sort of early shakedown run-outs. But we'll have a little look. So the correct Triumph V8 3-litre engine, auto gearbox, magnificent interior, this wonderful walnut dash, but she is absolutely beautiful, and I have to say I think one of my favourite Triumphs. And in a sense what we're looking at is a sort of an evolution of the 4-seater convertibles from the earlier Herald in the form of the 948 to the 1200, and then this last iteration of the 1360 for high performance version of a Herald with Vitesse, culminating in the magnificent Triumph Stag. Really grateful to the guys for bringing their cars along today, and unfortunately the clouds are starting to gather and we're going to have to put the tops up, but yeah, you'll join us in a second when we're on the road to Dunwich. Look how smooth that is though. It's just beautiful. That's beautiful, and you've got all the stickers. Yeah. Correct.
We've had this sitting in traffic in London, just sitting there in a traffic jam for I don't know how long. Just sat there like this and didn't go over halfway on.
That is just beautifully set up. Yeah. Fantastic.
So it's all got to be detailed and cleaned up yet. But notice that this has come adrift here. Yeah, there's bits to do. There's things,
but as you say, until you've actually taken her on a few miles and everything's kind of sort of found its own equilibrium, but she is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Have a look at the engine bay on Peter's, because that is absolutely gorgeous. You have a look at the seams. Sorry, Peter, I'll let you. Because that is just a little jewel, isn't it? And you look at the bulkhead and everything. But I think the most impressive thing for me is these seams.
Yeah. Totally original.
Absolutely. You know, it's like a sort of 3-year-old car.
Yeah, it's lovely. She's not the Vitesse I set
I think you did. and I think sometimes it's about the right car, not necessarily the thing you think you want, but it's just finding the right match. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, so we're going to set off in a little bit of a convoy. With everyone, so we've got the herald behind us. Just let the stag make its turn. Well, I should say I'm really grateful to Peter and Phil and Matt for coming along today. A long journey for all of them to make, and the weather's not quite what we hoped it would be, but I'm just delighted to be able to share some of my favourite driving routes with them. Well, right on cue, the rain has started, but hopefully that means there'll be less of a waiting in line for fish and chips when we get to Dunwich. So the road we're on, which is the A1120, is one which I can highly recommend because it has these sort of gentle sweeping bends and wonderful undulations. And we pass through some really pretty villages. So this is Petta, we're coming through now. And again, I'm just sort of checking my mirror to see whether we still have the stag. Yep, got everyone with us. Hopefully get a little bit of a view of a splendid convoy. I think we are putting on a fantastic show for the traffic coming the other way. And if anything, I think it confirms my sort of view that white is definitely a Triumph colour. It so suits the stag. I think the Triumph stag looks absolutely splendid in its white shade, and I'm particularly taken with the black and white colour scheme on the Herald, which I think it works really well with the 1360 and the Vitesse shaped bonnet line. one of the things you notice is the 1360 has no difficulty in keeping up with us at all. You know, absolutely a classic car that can be used almost as a daily driver, I guess. Of course, although it's a smaller engine than the Vitesse, it's a much lighter car as a consequence, and yeah, hopefully we're having a good time. So we're just coming through the village of Stonham, and this is again another one of Suffolk's really pretty villages. Got a very good pub and microbrewery here, delicatessen, and a good alternative place to stop off for lunch or a break if you're making this journey across the county. So we're now on the B1119, and this again, although it's a B road, it's a nice fast road. I'm having to be a little bit careful here because again there are a number of sort of undulations and corners which can come up sort of unexpectedly. In the dry, it's an absolute joy. In the wet, like today, you've just got to be a little bit extra careful. It's not something the Stag will have any trouble with, but for the Vitesse and Herald, particularly with the Mark 1 Vitesse, like this with the swing axle, we've just got to be a little bit careful when the roads are this greasy. coming into the village of Dunwich. I did do a film on this last year, talking about the drowned village of Dunwich, and it's a village with a fascinating history. Once one of Britain's most important eastern ports, and actually a town big enough to submit 2 members of Parliament up until the 1832 Reform Act, I think I'm right in saying. It succumbed first of all to the port silting up, or the river access to the port silting up, which prevented the larger ships from entering. And then later the North Sea wreaked havoc by eroding the cliffs on which the town was built. Just sweet little exhaust. Bye, guys.
So we've come out just in time for the rain.
Take care. Drive safely, Peter.
Bye.
That's a pretty car, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I think well, as you can probably see, we made it safely to Dunwich, and it was great to meet Peter, Matt and Phil, and to share stories about our cars, and really to sort of share some of my driving routes with them. Great lunch at the cafe at Dunwich, and yeah, fantastic day. I hope we get to do this again soon, and perhaps next time you'll be able to join us. But until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Take care. Great British summer, eh?